Rory will be playing?
Yeah, Rory will come in, so we'll make a couple of changes. He'll be one of those. He was close last week, to be honest. We made the decision more so from a medium longer term. He just didn't quite feel right in that captain's run, and we wanted to make sure we got this right, that we didn't lose him for a month.
And Taylor obviously is an enormous inclusion for you. What's he done leading up to this point? We start maybe with his teammates to make sure that when he does step back on the field, the air's cleared and he's good to go. Do you feel all that work's been done? From
a football point of view, or are we talking?
Just a general approach to.
Oh, there's been a lot of work done in, both in footy and away from footy. We're continuing to work in that space. We're all about becoming better people in that space, and to everyone's credit, everyone's put in and the work's been done, but we'll continue to work on that going forward.
Are you able to share some of the things that Taylor's done?
Oh, look, there's been a number in the community. There's been a number of him giving back, looking to educate himself, looking to help others, educate others around the space as well. I think we know we need to be better in that space, and we're open about that. We'll continue to work on it. But from our point of view, to have Tex, back into that forward line for us, it's about, on a game day, a footy side of things, it's about the experience that we need ahead of the ball. We mentioned it last week. We brought Murphy into the side. Murphy 60 games, and he was able to impact. I thought he had a great impact ahead of the ball. Probably some of it went unnoticed when it's helping to set up Ned McHenry and helping with Rowe and some of these younger kids, Josh Rochelle. So to have Taylor come back into that forward line adds another couple of hundred games experience. Now, is he match fit? He can't have done any more from a fitness point of view other than playing games. So our decision in the end was around, well, twofold. It was, we trust Tex to come in and play his role. He's got experience at the level. He'll be an on-field leader. And the other side of it was Darcy. We felt that Darcy at this point in time needed to work on a couple of areas of his game, which was, first and foremost, getting at the footy and competing and giving us what we need in the air. So the best option there was for him to go back and do that at a SNFL level and work on his game, get his confidence back, and then hopefully we can get him back on track as quick as possible.
Have you spoken to Tex about, or has he spoken to you about how to prepare for the reception he might potentially get? Does that become a factor for him?
I think he's reasonably experienced in that space. Tex has been a player that is loved. He's loved by our members and supporters. He's cheered every second week like no other when we play home games, and then he's treated the opposite when we play away games. That's, a lot of the influential players, the best players in the game, are treated that way. I think last year we saw from Tex, he came in and he's shown he can still play at the top level. He's as good as any when he's on. It'll be a challenge this weekend. We go and play Essendon at Marvel. That's a challenge every week. We won't focus on that too much coming in because I think he has the experience to deal with that.
Just on what he's had to do now, obviously it sounds like the fitness stuff is ticked every box, but what has he actually done off field to, I suppose, mend defences that he's needed to do? Because I feel like we've heard a lot of, he's done work in that space, but the specifics perhaps haven't kind of been out there. Shed some light on what he's kind of done now.
Yeah, and that's fair. I know people want to know all the details about where he's gone, and but this is a guy who's been out in the community, spent time up at Port Augusta, and got away and got in amongst the community and amongst the people, and just educated himself and others. He took others with him at the same time. So this is not one person. It's not just Tex working on, becoming that better person. It's the whole footy club, and it's the whole community. They've all been involved. It's hundreds of conversations, sitting down, getting to know, others, talking with his teammates, as we all do. We do it. As I said, it's not just the one person. So I don't want to go through every single thing that Tex has done because, one, I don't know every single thing he's done. What I do know is he's done the work. And when I have conversations with our players, which I do every week, every single player I'll talk to minimum once a week. That's part of my job, is to make sure that we're connected and we're on the same page and that we're working to become better people. I believe we've done that.
Sorry, did you ask the players how they feel about Taylor's return, or is that done?
Yeah, we had some great conversations this week about exactly that space. we're open and honest about everything. How do you feel about Taylor coming back in? And look, the responses have been really positive. There are challenges that come with all of that. We have to put 23 players. We have to pick 23 players a week out of 44. So I'm constantly having challenging conversations around where to from here. How do I get myself into that group? That's why they're here. They're competitive beasts. They love playing footy. They're the best when they play as young kids. They come into this big pool, and it's quite a challenge. But that's why my job's so fun.
The suspension aside, the length of time that Taylor's had off was needed for some of his teammates perhaps to feel like, yeah, Texas is there to explore alongside him.
I don't really have a comment around that. I don't know whether it's the length of time and so on. We as I said, there's been so many conversations in this space. Just listening, learning, educating. I don't think the suspension time had much to do with that.
You say Texas ready. Was there any consideration given to whether other Indigenous players around the league or whether the league was ready for Tex to return this week? I
think it's a fair question. I think we can only be as open and honest as we can within these walls and work with the group we're working with. I've got no doubt that a lot of people are having conversations outside of here as well. And there's a fair bit going on in this space. I think, look, if you look at it from a bigger picture point of view, I think it's positive that at least we're talking about these things, and we're not going to accept the behaviour that we're seeing still around the league. We still got a lot of work to do in this space.
What was your take on the club's social media post the other day about Texas' return?
I'm disappointed. That was a miss. That was a big miss. And we're people make mistakes. But that was a miss.
How do you carry on football-wise this week?
Yeah, that's our challenge. We were really pleased with obviously the result. It's one kick. It's amazing the difference it can make. But the way we played the game, no matter that final kick, that makes the week a lot easier. But we played a brand of footy that was back to what we do. That was our DNA that we put on show. Our challenge now is to keep that momentum and to be able to do it in a foreign environment. We go to Marvel, and I say foreign because we've had players who haven't played there. That's the group we're working with at the moment. And it's a different environment. It's an indoor stadium, the ball flies different, it bounces differently. We're playing against a team that play it very, very well, and they'll be hungry. They've played, I would say, they've played the three best sides in the competition, if you look at it, and they've been in a couple of those games and played some really good footy, so they'll be red hot. Our challenge now is to go down and repeat what we were able to do Friday night.
They also gave you a touch-up there last year. What did you learn from that? Obviously both teams are a bit different, but what did you learn from that you can take into this one? Yeah,
we've talked through that. We've had our struggles with them, especially at Marvel. They play it really well. They really do attack the game. They take you on and challenge you. So it doesn't change the way we play. It's a matter of us sticking to what we do, sticking to our roles. And I think we come off a game Friday night where we had a number of players that don't have a lot of experience at the level, but they got some great experience playing their roles on the weekend. It's now a challenge to be able to do that and back it up again. It doesn't matter the opponent. Our game plan should look after the opponent. It's just a matter of whether we can do it consistently.
So what have you told Fog?
As in what needs to be worked on? So Fog and I have got together. We've been speaking now for probably 2 or 3 weeks around trying to take his game to the next level. What's it going to take? Even Fog would tell you he's not in the form he wants to be in. There's a key area to Fog's game that we're looking for, and that's his ability to go at the footy and attack it in the air. We give him some opportunities in games where, for whatever reason in training, he's working on these and he's attacking those balls and he's having success. But on game day, it's not quite, coming through. So he knows what he needs to work on. It's a matter of getting that done. There could be a mental side to it that he needs to go back and find that confidence. Again, we talk about these young guys understanding their role. Well, part of Fog's role at times is competing and jumping at the footy. So that's the key area. What we then talk about is how quickly you see it turn around. I've seen it so many times where people are struggling for form, and they can find it in a heartbeat. You know, it can come with maybe a contest, maybe a quarter of footy where it just turns. I'm hoping we saw that with Himmelberg on the weekend, where he was given an opportunity, he jumped at the footy, he competed, he showed intensity for the contest. You know, it was only a week earlier that people were writing him off, and he was probably struggling for a bit of confidence. But the key for him now is to back it up this weekend. Well, there's a similar thing for Fog. I know he can turn it around quickly.
Is there a reason why a player like Fog would be jumping at the ball in terms of the areas he needs to improve? Is there a reason why?
Why he wouldn't be?
Yeah, if he's out of the side because he's not doing it as a forward, why would he not be?
Oh, there's pressure from opposition. There's a confidence level. There's judging the footy in the air. There's a lot of factors in it. He gets as we've said before, the key forward positions are highly underrated. If you get a defender on you who knows his craft and is strong in that area, it makes the game a lot harder. But in saying that, Fog's going to go away and work on areas. He knows he needs to be better. We're doing whatever we can to help him in that space. So it's on all of us. We're definitely not doing a lack of work in that area.
Is fitness an issue anymore with him, or?
No, it's not a fitness.
Just on last week, looking back, a lot got kind of caught up in the emotion, of course, the division of you and the coaches celebrating was pretty powerful for fans.
Yeah.
What was it like in the box? Can you take us through what that looked like and how that felt for you?
Well, the first quarter I was out of control. I did get a little hand on the shoulder at quarter time and got told to calm down, but that's what Showdown does. I think it brings out the best in people and the worst. And so, to be honest, I was on edge. I got a great coaching group around me. They're incredible. They calmed me down in that second and third, and then unfortunately I lost my way at the final siren. I thought it was missing, like everyone did. We were right behind it, and for it to go through, it's hard to hide that emotion because I just, from a club point of view, that was a big moment. For that to go through, for our young group, for belief, for a bit of momentum, a bit of trust in your role in the process, what we've been doing. I've never seen a group work harder, and so sometimes you just need a little bit of that luck. I'm not sure if the wind blew or what happened, but it came back at right angles, so it was a good moment.
Spoke to Geordie, and Geordie said he looked up and saw you smiling, and that relaxed him over the kick. What were you smiling? How could you smile in that moment? What were you smiling at?
It's one of those moments, I think, where I turned around to the boys behind, and there was a fair bit going on in the lead up to that because Murph was down, so we were concerned about Murph first and foremost, and then as we saw him get up to his feet, we then looked at who was standing around the ball, and there's a number of guys. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Joshua Shelley had the ball in his hands and was pulling his sock up, putting his mouth guard away. I just love him. He's a ripping kid, and he wanted the kick. It's very unusual, and it's a moment that there's not many people that want that pressure. He did. And for Dawes to end up with it in his hands, we had a bit of a chuckle and said, well, one of those two grabs it, we're pretty pleased. So we were just smiling, and I was pleased that he had it in his hands. I'm actually glad he saw me on the screen smiling. It wasn't intentional by any means, but I was actually just pleased that he got it in his hands.
Is Murphy okay?
Yeah, Murphy's pulled up well. So he got it. It was a stinger, and he was concerned early. Just got pins and needles shot straight down his arm. So he was. We were concerned. He was concerned, but in the end, he was pretty honest with me afterwards that he was glad he got a stinger because I'm not sure Murph wants to kick from there after the siren.
Well, you guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Had a word in last week or this week to your old mate Kenny about how things are going over there. You guys having a fraternity like that?
We spoke pre-Showdown around the game, but no, we haven't spoken since last night. I went and watched the game. Melbourne are obviously an outstanding side, and I thought Port early in the game controlled the game to a point. So it shows how important goal kicking is. It can be the difference in a game.
Sorry, just one more. Obviously, a lot of support for the women's team tomorrow. You must be, everyone must be getting behind them and hoping for another
we're pumped for Chelsea and the girls. Like they're an incredible football side, and as I've mentioned a number of times, it makes you proud watching them each week. So we'll be doing whatever we try to do, whatever we could to get there tomorrow. And unfortunately, with flights and unfortunately COVID and our restrictions on what we can and can't do, we couldn't get there, but we'll be rooting for them behind the scenes. They're just good to watch. So proud of them, and I know they'll give it their all.